In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some tips that I would give to anyone just starting out with a new business. Maybe you've just gone freelance. I'm going to be sharing some advice that I would potentially give to my younger self when I was just starting out, and also some things that have really worked for me as well. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Anna from byrosanna.co.uk and I am a designer and online educator. And here on YouTube, I share videos on business, productivity, marketing, design, all of that good stuff. So if you like that kind of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up while you're there. So maybe you are new to freelancing and you've just started a side hustle or just begun a new business and gone full-time with it. I know when I was getting started with my website and logo design business back in 2015, I was really overwhelmed by all the information that was out there online. So I want to keep this video quite snappy and just distill all of the tips that I would give to myself if I was starting all over again back in 2015. And I'm going to kick off with two of the things that I actually did do that really helped my business grow and that I would recommend everyone does as well. And the first thing is I didn't niche down too early. So what I mean by that is you will probably hear a lot of people say, oh, in order to be successful in your business, you need to choose a niche. You need to market to a very specific small group of people. You need to pick a really specific thing that you want to do and just stick with that and do it really well. And while that is really good advice for growing a business, when you are just getting started as a freelancer or you're trying to work out the best way to run a business that works for your lifestyle and actually includes things that you enjoy doing, it's actually quite a good thing to try lots of different things, both in what you do and what you offer and who you're targeting as well. So when I was first starting out, I think I just said, I'm going to design logos and websites for any small business. And that's actually quite a broad target audience. That's quite a lot of people. And yes, a lot of people will say, well, that's way too broad. You should start out by saying, I'm going to offer website and logo design for coaches or for restaurant owners, and that would be considered more of a niche. And while that is really good because you can get really well known for doing something, if you're doing something very specific and you're doing it very well, you can get very well known and it can lead to even more growth and success. When you're just starting out, you might not actually find that you enjoy working with people in that niche or offering that service in that niche. So what I found that was for the first kind of year or so, just experimenting with working with lots of different types of clients in lots of different industries, offering lots of different services and doing things in different ways. Having that phase of experimentation meant that I could work out who I actually enjoyed working with the most. What were the projects that really lit me up and made me feel really passionate about what I was doing? And then I could choose a niche from there once I'd experienced a lot of different things and made that decision. So that's one of the things that I did that I don't regret and I would probably suggest doing if I started again, having at least kind of 6 months to a year of just experimenting with different things. But yeah, slightly controversial because I know a lot of people suggest choosing a niche from the get-go. Second thing that I did that has been so beneficial for my business was I started creating content really early on, like even before I was actually offering any services or before I had any clients. I had a website, I had a blog on it, and I was creating blog content consistently at least once a week. Obviously back in 2015, Instagram wasn't a huge thing, but nowadays I would definitely suggest creating an Instagram account from the get-go before you even have anything else ready and just create content on there. Specifically, the type of content I was creating was very educational content so that I could position myself as an authority on certain topics such as website design and marketing, and then I would get clients in through that. Top advice if you are just getting started, just create content. Even if you don't have an audience yet, create content as if you do and they will come. So now moving on to some pieces of advice that I would give myself in hindsight, things that I would do better if I was to start from fresh again. And the first piece of advice would be to get really clear about my goals and actually have like a routine for planning out my business and my year, creating an action plan and actually setting goals to work towards. Because I think for the first kind of 3, maybe even 4 years of my business, I was just kind of floating around, just doing bits of work, doing things that I kind of enjoyed, some things that I didn't enjoy. And I never really had like a strategy or a game plan. Okay, what's my goal? How much revenue do I want to make this year? How many clients do I want to work with? Where do I eventually want to take my business? So I didn't have a guiding light of actually where I wanted to take my business, which just meant I didn't really have a clear direction. And so I wasn't growing year on year. I was, if anything, making less year on year. My whole business journey has been really up and down, by the way. And it wasn't until my friend Olivia and I sat down and had like a full planning day at the end of 1 year with a workbook and everything, which you can now download for free off my website. I'll leave a link in the description. We went through this whole planning process, and that year was the most productive, amazing year that I've ever had, because I felt like I had purpose, I had direction, my business grew, and it has grown every year since because I have this very specific goal setting and planning routine. As I said, I do have a free workbook that will take you through that process, which I have linked below. The next thing I would do earlier would be to invest in my skills. So I was someone, when I was starting out my business, I would consume masses and masses of free information. I would read blogs, watch YouTube videos. I would download all the free ebooks and free trainings that I could, which is great. And I absorbed so much information, listening to podcasts, that kind of thing. I absorbed so much information, but a lot of it I didn't actually end up implementing, because the thing with free content is a lot of it is kind of just information, and then it relies on you to kind of turn it around into a way that you can use it and then implement it. But what happens when you invest in yourself by hiring a coach or investing in a paid course or a program that will take you from A to B is you have the accountability, you have someone who is potentially helping you to actually turn that information into something that applies to you, helping you implement it. And the fact that you've spent money on something means that you are generally going to be more committed to it than just from information that you get in a free ebook. And this is something that I preach anyway, because obviously I do offer my own online courses, such as email marketing with Flowdesk, Instagram Reels, stuff like that, teaching people how to use those things. And I always say the benefit of these is that you can just have all of that information in one place. It's going to help you get where you want to be quicker than if you are Googling around the internet and trying to find things and piece things together that maybe aren't relevant to you. So if I could go back, I would start doing that earlier. I've only just started investing in myself in these ways in the kind of last couple of years. And my final point would be to not price myself so low in the beginning. And I know we all have to start somewhere with our business, but it can be so detrimental to our own mental health when we get stressed and overworked and overwhelmed because we're not charging enough. So then we're having to take on more work, do more things to make the money that we actually need to make ends meet. When I was starting out, I was charging something like £10 an hour because to me, that was a good amount because I'd just come from a 9-to-5 job that was paying me £7 or £8 an hour. I don't even think that's minimum wage nowadays, but there we go. And I was charging like £100 for a logo design or something. And this is not uncommon. I see people doing this a lot. And obviously when you're getting started, you're worried about pricing yourself too high so you won't get clients. You're thinking in your head that you're not maybe experienced enough to charge more. But the point is, if you are not charging enough to allow you to make a living or to allow you to have a life that doesn't completely stress you out and lead to burnout, then there's no point in being freelance or having your own business. So this is why I've created my How to Price Your Services Masterclass. It's £27 and I will leave the link below. It's an hour-long training with a kind of spreadsheet calculator showing you how to find your minimum hourly rate, showing you whether you need to be charging fixed prices, hourly prices, what value-based pricing is, how to charge day rates. We also go through whether or not to put your prices on your website, offering discounts, charging deposits. All of that good stuff is included in this training. So if you are also in a place where you are struggling to set your prices and you are potentially thinking you're charging too little, then definitely check this out. It will be worth every penny if you can get yourself to a place where you're charging enough to actually live the life you want and run the business that you want. So those are all of my tips for new freelancers. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I will see you again next week with another one. Thanks for watching.